Welcome to the Deadlifts and Pizza podcast, where we discuss no BS fitness and nutrition.
We're your hosts. I'm Laura.
And I'm Jamie.
Let's get into it.
Before we get started, I want to ask a favor of all of our listeners, which you know is very hard for me to ask for favors.
But stop being a burden, Laura.
But if you like this podcast, if you find it helpful at all, can you please subscribe?
Yeah.
You know, wherever you listen. Also, if you like, most people listen to us on Spotify or Apple. Not a lot of people listen to us on YouTube. And I think it would be helpful if, even if you follow us on Spotify or listen to us there, follow us on YouTube also and just like the video and comment, because that will help the algorithm a lot so that we get more views on those videos and stuff.
Definitely. Because I put in a lot of work putting them on YouTube.
Yeah. And I just made a new one and trolled Jaime.
Oh yeah, I need to go watch that. She asked me for a picture of me looking up and slightly away, and in my mind, I was like, "Where should I put my hands?" And she said, like, on your hips or something. So in my mind, I was like, I'm a superhero. Yeah. So I looked very superhero-ish, and I sent it to her, and then she was like, "Yeah, that works, but not real superhero, like almost like WTF." And I was like, "Oh, that's a totally different. I'm gonna cross my arms and then it was like a pull-up thing, right? About like me. I was looking at you
doing pull-ups.
Yes, you bitch.
Because it was
I was going to be a superhero.
It was like I cut the video that we did, just posted a segment, so it's like shorter of
That's a good idea,
talking about pull-ups and whatever and how to get better at pull-ups, that whole part. And in one part of it, you said that you were frightened or whatever, and I was catching up to you. So I titled the thing too, not the video, but on the thumbnail, I titled it, "I'm so excited, I'm so scared." Do you know what that's in reference to?
No idea.
It's like a pop culture reference. Did you ever watch Saved by the Bell when you were younger? So do you remember the episode, this is like the iconic episode of Jessie? Was her name Jessie? I haven't seen it in so long, so I don't remember.
Yeah,
but she got addicted to caffeine pills.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh my God. Yeah, that line's from that?
That's the name of that episode. I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I remember that. And she was like, there's one point where she's like laughing and crying and it was like this big deal.
They made it so dramatic. It was caffeine pills, but I think they were supposed to do the episode with speed or something like that.
Oh.
But then maybe it didn't pass like, the screen, like, whatever it's called. And
they made it caffeine.
Or the audio, I don't know. So they changed it to caffeine, which made it just funny. So funny.
I saw a reel yesterday. You know this whole 6'7" with kids? 6'7". Like you can't even, and if you don't know what we're talking about, just Google it, please. But I'm not going into it. But it's this whole thing. And our friends came to visit who have little kids. So they haven't, they're not into that stuff yet. And they learned all about it while they were here. So now she's been sending me reels of 6'7" and stuff like that. And there was this reel where it was like POV, your friend who is working on his 6'7" detox or something like that. And it's these guys and they walk into this guy's house and they're like, "Hey, how have you been?" And the guy's like, "Oh man, guys, it's so good to see you. I've been good." And they bring him flowers. They're like, "Yeah, you've been all right. It's so good to see you." He's like, "Yeah, man, it's been a year since my last incident." And they're like, "That's so great." And he's like, "Man, I haven't seen you guys in a long time." And the guy's like, "Yeah, it's been 8 years." And they're like, "Yeah, 8 years." And the guy in the back goes, "No, it hasn't. It's been 6 years, maybe 7. And then all the guys get their jaws drop and they get this really scared look and they look back at their friend and their friend starts twitching and he's holding the flowers and he's like, sick. And then as he drops the flowers and his hands start going up and down, he goes, 6'7". They're like, "No." And they put him in a straitjacket and they're like, "What did you do?"
The funny thing is it's still around. The kids normally their stuff.
It's still around. It's very still active.
Yeah, and most
people
of the
were
time
6'7" for
now.
Halloween. Did you see 6'7" costume? I saw 4 6'7" costumes.
That's funny because a lot of things are "Oh no, we don't say that anymore." That's so 2 weeks.
Give it a
ago.
couple of weeks.
Yeah,
but I feel we're still at the height of it.
Staying power.
I mean, yeah. How long has it been?
I don't know. It's been a while. This has been, I don't know. Because when I heard it was gotta been summertime or something.
It's funny how that's that wasn't that long ago. I thought you were gonna be like a year ago.
Isn't it funny though that when we were kids, we'll get to fitness eventually. When we were kids, like we didn't have social media. We didn't have the internet until way later. We didn't have all that stuff, but still trends still happened at my school, in your school, and everyone's school that were very similar or the same. Like stories we heard and different trends, even though we didn't have that connection. It just spread. Yeah. It was just a lot slower. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's just about how the connections come. Yeah, how fast they rise up and then how fast they disappear because the next thing comes.
They lasted. They had more staying power when we were kids.
Yeah. And now, have you heard of Italian brain rot?
No.
Have you heard of skibbity toilet?
Yeah. So but I don't know what it is.
Skibbity toilet is literally a toilet with a head sticking out of it. And he's a character in a YouTube series. And it's a very low budget YouTube series about a toilet with a head that fights like men with cameras as heads and TVs, and they're called cameraman and TV man, and they fight, and it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And it became this big thing, and then it fell. And my son was obsessed, and then he automatically was not obsessed. And now it's this thing called Italian brain rot. It's a very similar concept, very low budget. There's all these little characters. There's one called Chimpanzini Bananini, and he's like a mix between a monkey and a banana. And then there's like Tung 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 Sahur, and I don't even know what he is. He's like a pair of underwear with legs. I don't know. Very low budget little characters, and they all have these like catchy little names, and it blew up. And I tell my son, I'm like, some like overweight 50-year-old in his tighty whitey sitting in his mom's basement like did this on his computer and is making millions off of you little idiots. This is cool.
It's insane.
And it is the biggest. And then Roblox made a game called Steal a Brain Rot, so now they're making millions. And then they turned 6'7" into a brain rot character. It is just like, it's so annoying.
It's literal, and my son's
obsessed with all of it. It's literal brain rot. I'm like, do you hear yourself?
Like the things we used to listen to. We used to watch things like Saved by the Bell with caffeine pills.
Entire movies and things.
Yeah.
But it's funny because you've seen those reels that go around that are like me at 13, kids now at 13, but it was like us doing like bye 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 for NSYNC or like different dances. And now they're the concept of trying to do popular dances though. That's like the thread, right? And TikTok, and Instagram reels just kind of expanded on that or made it easier to access.
I'm so glad I'm not a kid now though, because we did it like we looked horrible. Like it was just fun. Like now it's all about everything. Imagine your whole life being online and everyone seeing it, and like all the stupid things you did is there forever.
Yeah. My kids are not on social media.
No.
Okay.
All
right, moving on.
Fitness.
So, question for you that you already know because you had to prepare your answers.
Yeah, and I didn't. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go. You ask the question.
Okay. Because I made a post on this, and I thought it would be a good question of like, if I had to pick 4 exercises that would change your body the most, like 4 exercises, what would they be? And so I asked you, like, can you come up with these?
Yeah, and I thought this was a hard question to answer because I didn't know what you meant by change your body the most. Did you mean build muscle, whatever? I didn't know what you meant. And so I just winged it.
That's fine. So that's why I felt like I purposefully didn't expand on that because I feel like that could be up for interpretation. So the way I interpreted it is kind of based through my lens and maybe what my goal would be, which is a little bit of both, right? Strength, but also maybe like the way that your body looks and performs, like maybe all of it, like what would be, So if you looked at it through the lens of, no, I just want to look good, you might pick different exercises, but I feel like these all kind of, my 4 kind of hit all of that. Or you might look at it, what's going to change your body in terms of like longevity and health and wellness for the long term. So I feel like it's up for interpretation.
I took it as like building muscle, maybe strength too. And since you said 4, I figured it would be smart to break it up into movement patterns. So
I did the same.
Yeah, squat, hinge, push, pull, right? So for squat, I like the barbell back squat is the one I chose. The reason I chose that one is because, and by the way, this is putting me in a like a very tight box where I have to choose one thing. Like I don't like this, right? So don't just do this exercise, do other exercises also.
You have to put the disclaimer.
But if I'm choosing one, the reason I'm choosing that one is because it's very easy to progressive overload. Like you can continue to add weight, add reps. It's also a good exercise that you can do in multiple rep ranges, right? You could do that in low reps and it's great for that. You could do it in high reps and it's still great for that. So it's a great exercise. It works your quads and your glutes both really well. So I'm going to choose the back squat. And it's also just very good for, like you said, even like mobility, all of that stuff. Like if you could do a back squat very well, it's yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So I chose for the squat pattern, I chose Bulgarian split squat. Did you look at my post? Did you know what I chose ahead of time?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
Because I realized too, I think in my mind when I was choosing these, I was also thinking of a variety of a type of person, like maybe different situations. Like not everybody can barbell back squat or has access to it. So that's what I was thinking in my mind. But I like a Bulgarian split squat because I think it's very challenging. So for somebody to master it, I think that changes you a lot. It hammers your quads, and with very slight adjustments, you can hammer your glutes as well, or like kind of pick and choose. I think it's easy to overload as well because people find it so challenging. So there's ways to adjust like the elevation of your feet and different things. There's so many ways to like adjust it and overload it and slow down the tempo. I also personally, I think they're great for mobility. If you sit into them the right way, I think they're really good for overall mobility. I also think that Bulgarian split squats are really fabulous for helping to build and maintain strength for like a barbell back squat. So when I wasn't barbell back squatting for a while, but I was doing a lot of heavy Bulgarian split squats, I found I was able to maintain my strength in a barbell back squat better. So yeah, I chose Bulgarian split squat.
Yeah, I think it works the other way too. That's what the other thing I was going to say is the back squat has a lot of carryover to everything else because you can add so much weight to it. You can if you keep getting stronger at that, you're going to get stronger at everything else. Like you could not Bulgarian split squat for years and do it, and you're going to be able to do more weight if you back squat. Anyway, like it, but yeah, that's choosing. I think you should do both. Okay, let's go.
We're trying to choose like if you had to pick 4.
Okay,
that's the intention.
All right, hinge. Yeah. Okay, for hinge, I chose Romanian deadlift because I love a good deadlift, right? I love the conventional deadlift. The conventional deadlift is amazing. And I think if you are a beginner, that's the other thing about the back squat. All levels, as long as you can do the actual movement, as long as you have the mobility to do the back squat, a beginner should be able to do it all the way up to advanced, and you're still going to get, benefits. A deadlift, I think, is really good for building muscle for like a beginner, but once you get more advanced, it's so taxing because of the amount of weight you have to do to go to failure. You can't do as many sets. You can't lift as heavy. It's just very taxing. So I don't think it's as good at building muscle as a Romanian deadlift would be, because you can still do a lot of weight with a Romanian deadlift. It's something you could, and I'm thinking barbell, but dumbbells too. I find that barbell's easier for my grip. Like I can do more weight with a barbell because my grip doesn't give out as easy as with dumbbells. So yeah, what was I saying? So you can add weight to it easy to progressive overload. I mean, I can do almost as much as that with a Romanian deadlift as I can with a regular deadlift. And it really builds your hamstrings, mostly your hamstrings, and your glutes. And then you get a little bit of like, back stabilization and all of that in there too.
I chose Romanian deadlift for all the same reasons. And if we're thinking hinge, I was like, it definitely beats a hip thrust because, I mean, if your only goals are like glutes maybe, but a Romanian deadlift just, it is such a high carryover. I think that's my main reason. Romanian deadlift has such a high carryover to regular life. If you can Romanian deadlift properly, then you can do life properly.
Yeah, squatting too. Being able to squat into a deep squat, that helps too.
Yeah. But I find like so many people just bend over to pick things up more than, I feel like it's a risk. People bend over a lot more incorrectly and hurt their low backs. I just think the carryover is higher.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay. Push. All right. So for push, I'm thinking most of the people who listen to us are women, and women aren't really they they don't really care about building their chest that much, right? So not a bench press
most of the time, yeah.
Right? Even though a bench press is probably a very good compound exercise and you are going to hit your shoulders and other things, it's still mostly chest, right? So instead, I'm going with shoulders. And I was thinking of overhead press, but I'm going to choose seated dumbbell shoulder press. The reason why is because with an overhead press, the way you do it, your elbows are in front of you, right? So it's mostly front delts. Whereas if you use the dumbbells, your elbows can be out a little bit more to the sides. So you're going to hit your side delts a little bit more. So it's going to be a little bit better. That's where most people want to build anyway. Your front delts get hit a lot. You don't usually have to isolate them or anything like that because they get hit in so many different exercises. So I'm going with the dumbbells and seated so that way you're focusing mostly on shoulders.
Nice. I also said an overhead press, and I didn't specify dumbbells or barbells, but I agree that dumbbell, if I had to pick, I would pick a dumbbell overhead press for all the same reasons. I was thinking like most people don't care about their chest as much. They care more about shoulders and the way that looks.
Yeah.
Also, one of the main things I hear when working with clients is that I hear this joke of like, oh, I just want to be able to put my overhead thing in the plane. I want to be able to, it's like the idea of pushing things overhead. A lot of people can't really do. And there's a lot of mobility restrictions. Like a lot of people can push in front of them, even if they don't have the strength, they have the mobility to push in front of them, but pushing overhead, a lot of people lack a lot of mobility in their shoulders to be able to keep proper. So I feel like that overhead press, especially dumbbell, when you can really kind of manipulate the angle of your elbows.
Yes.
You have there's a lot more benefits tied into that.
Yeah. Definitely. Nuance. I got to add the nuance. If you are actually building yourself a program, though, I would add in lateral raises, some form of lateral raises to really hit the side delts because they don't get hit as hard. That's why you have to isolate them. They don't get hit as hard as the front delts. So it is still a good idea.
You should be doing all of these. We just have to say. All right. What's your pull?
Pull.
We have 3, basically. 2 have been the same so far. I'm wondering if the third will be the same.
So for pull, I really want to say pull-ups. I that would be the one I would choose. But the reason I don't know if that's a good choice is because most people can't do pull-ups, even if you use a band or assistance, unless you're using like an assisted pull-up machine. But I don't really like those as much. I feel like most people just, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people can actually do a pull-up. So instead, I'm going to say... This was hard. I'm going to say a lat pull down. And because it's going to, it's very similar to a pull up. It's going to hit your mid back a lot. But
you were going to say a row.
A row.
Why didn't you say a row? Yeah. Why didn't you say like a barbell row or dumbbell row?
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't remember why. I had a reason.
It's funny because I said pull ups / pull down. So I meant either a pull up or a lateral pull down, which is the same answer as you basically just gave.
Yeah.
But it's funny because it doesn't follow the same logic as my other choices. My other choices were like, oh, these are very accessible to most people. Then I was like, pull ups, not accessible to most people. But I just feel like being able to do a pull up is so life changing and body changing. But then a pull down has a lot of the same benefits in terms of being able to like isolate like your mid back or your lats a little better, or like build the strength maybe for like a pull up.
I think the reason I chose it is because, I mean, you could do something like but it's harder to find, is a T-bar row or something like that. I think the reason I chose the pull down is because it really gets your back more, whereas like a row, a lot of people don't. You have to stabilize and do all of that too, so it's a little bit harder to get the movement right and actually isolate the back a little bit more.
Another one of my reasons for choosing it was because a lot of people want, like, if you're talking about physically changing your body. Then like, building up your shoulders is going to be one thing that gives that illusion, but also like having built lats are going to give that like that V illusion, whatever, smaller ways, and having a nice back. But my logic doesn't really match up because you can really activate the lats, but you can also really activate the lats in a row. So I don't, but that was my reason when I chose it. But then when I was thinking about it later, I was like, no, but a lot of people don't hit their lats very well in a row because a lot of people don't they're actually pulling at the wrong angle, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're using more bicep.
Hard. It's hard to actually feel your lats in the row. You have to make sure your shoulders aren't rolling forward at the top. Yeah. It's difficult.
And the angle that you pull, if you pull too close to your boob versus more towards your hip, this makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, that's part of the reason I was thinking of it, is just targeting those muscles. But with the nuance, I would do something like a face pull or something else in there to get your upper back too.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that. Awesome. Yep. All right. Let's talk about the functions of the core. Let's get into that. Right turn out of a left turn lane right now.
Yeah. So we just talked about all different movement patterns, but we didn't. Oh yeah, I did. Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't hear you.
Sorry.
Because your screen went and that made me just anyway. But now it came back of what you said. Okay. But I hear it. It just doesn't click. Okay.
Got it.
So I was thinking of doing an episode where we talk about the core. We talked about building six-pack before, but I don't think I think a lot of people don't realize how much the core actually does. There's 8 functions of the core. I don't know. Is there any other muscle group that has that many? I don't think so, right? I can't think of anything.
No, well, I mean, you think of the core, it's like your entire trunk.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's fair.
Most people think like sit-ups, right? They make sit-ups and maybe like a plank or something. So you're getting a couple things in there, but not all of the functions of the core. So I wanted to go over those a little bit today. Does that sound good?
Let's go.
Yeah. So to bulletproof your core, train all of these areas. So first, I don't want to go too much into all of the muscles of the core because that's boring, and I don't think everybody needs like a full anatomy lesson.
Well, where this is really useful is because like when I think about it in training, when we're programming and we're thinking about the squat pattern, hinge, push, pull, but we're also thinking about vertical pull versus, horizontal pull. And then we're also thinking about unilateral versus bilateral. And then we're also thinking of planes of movement. Are we, stepping to the front or to the side? And so there's so many things. But then when it comes to core, a really good programmer or a program also has core exercises that hit all of these 8 things you're going to talk about. And does it have to come in every single day? No. But it's that you have a good mix of all of it and it's all represented, because core isn't just, okay, now go do some sit-ups and some crunches because you're working your abs. Like it's making sure that it's very well-rounded. And these are basically the movement patterns of your core. So making sure that we're hitting all of those in different ways.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, I'm going to, so I don't want to go over the muscles too much because just doing all of these patterns, you're going to hit all of these muscles anyway. So you don't need to know the names of them, but you have the rectus abdominis, which is the 6-pack abs, right? Those are the muscles everyone thinks of when you think of your core. You got the obliques, which are the muscles on the outside of like your sides, right? Then you got your internal obliques. So those are underneath. You got the TVA, which is like the,
corset.
The corset, it's for stability, basically, right? Keep all of your spine, protect your spine, all of that stuff. Then you have stuff in your back. You have the erector spinae and your.
I love how you were like, I'm not going to go over all the muscles in the core, but you have your obliques and you have your.
I'm just not going to go into all of their functions, all of them, all of that. Multifidus, isn't that one in the back?
Like
you have
the
your
fan.
QL.
Yeah.
And then you also have your diaphragm and your pelvic floor. Yeah, I think
so
I
it's
named
like you have
most
a cap,
of them.
you have the top, you have the bottom, and then you have all of the ones around, even going back surrounding your spine.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's go into the 8 functions. So when I'm saying functions, I mean like the 8 movement patterns, I guess is another way to say it, of the core, right? So you have trunk flexion. This is what everybody thinks of. So this is when you're doing a sit-up or a crunch, really a crunch, or like a reverse crunch or hanging leg raises or anything like that.
Bending your body forward.
Bending it forward or up. Yeah.
Or back.
Bending your trunk.
Back and forth.
So that's an easy one, right? Then you have trunk extension. So that's bending backwards. So that's like bending your spine backwards. You can think of like a back extension or a Superman or something like that. And you're going to train that part.
Yep.
You have lateral flexion, which is bending to the side. So you can think of like side bends, or you can think of like side planks on like where you put your feet on the bench and then you dip, like you so side.
Yeah. It's like oblique training, basically.
It's oblique training. Yep.
Yeah.
Then you have rotation. So a great rotation one would be wood
Russian
chops.
Twists. Or wood
Russian
chops,
twists is another one. Yeah, wood chops. You have the landmine rotations, that kind of stuff.
Good, yeah.
And then you have anti-flexion. So that's basically resisting, going forward. Now, we don't really need to train that, isolate that at all, because you get like that. You know, when we say you train your abs when you're deadlifting, you train your abs when you're doing all these, like all the different exercises that you do with a barbell, you're basically training anti-flexion, because you have to stay stable and not bend over, right?
You keep going. I keep getting a phone call over and over. I'm going to answer. Just keep going.
Okay. All right. So basically, you don't really need to isolate that, because you're training it with all of the other exercises you're doing. You have anti-extension. So that's going to be resisting going backwards or arching your spine or anything like that. What's a good exercise? Like a plank, right? A plank.
Plank's like stabilization. Would that count as...
Yeah, that's basically what you're doing, because you're resisting going backwards like that. You have to like keep your... So you know how you have to like contract and keep your core tight.
I think of it more as like stabilization, but yeah,
but that's what it is. Yeah. So another, like, you could think of the same thing on the ground. Like if you're doing dead bugs or something like that, you have to resist your lower back from coming up. Like you don't want your lower back to come up. So as you're lowering your arms and your legs, it's causing your lower back to want to come up, and you having to keep it there is anti extension, right? Yeah. Anti-extension. So that's what a plank is, and that's what stabilization basically is. Same thing. It's both anti-extension and anti-flexion, right?
Yeah.
Anti-lateral flexion.
So that's all stabilization. All of the antis are stabilization.
Just stabilization, right. Yeah. So it's resisting bending to the side. So a good one for this would be like a suitcase carry, right? Yeah. Because you're having the weight on one hand, and different than like a farm. So you only have weight on the one side. You're not going to carry weights on both sides. So just one side, and that weight is pulling you down. So you have to resist that and stand up straight.
Well, I think of it as you call it a suitcase carry, which makes sense. I've also called it a single arm farmer's carry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can call it that.
But yeah, for sure, like that feeling, like of the weight pulling you down, and you're resisting and like keeping your trunk straight, will light up your core.
That's one of my favorite exercises. As long as you don't go too heavy, you have to go heavy enough where you're going to feel it, but not so heavy where some people, you have to make sure you can actually stay stabilized, and you will feel that in your core a lot. The one I don't train enough is probably lateral flexion. Like I don't do a lot of that stuff. If I do that, I will get sore easily.
I purposefully don't, because I don't want like built up obliques.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think about it. Did you say anti-rotation?
No, that's the last one. Anti-rotation. So that would be like a pale-off press.
Yeah.
Like
so you're pressing something out in front of you. Your body wants to rotate, but you're stable. So there's basically only 4 instead of 8.
There's 8. No, it is. It's the 8 functions of it.
But it's kind of like 4, and there's the positive and the anti of each one.
Yeah, basically.
So we're bending forward, bending backward, bending to the side, and twisting.
Yes.
And then there's the anti of all of those.
Anti of all of those.
Which is basically don't twist, bend, or lean.
Yeah. And if you train all of those areas of the core, you will have a bulletproof core, less likely to get injuries.
Because the anti of all of those heavily involves the TVA, the transverse abdominals. the anti of every single one involves you to activate that inner like corset to stabilize all around. Whereas like the what's the opposite of anti? Like the positive, like the extension and flexion and stuff is all using a more superficial muscle.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's cool. I just made that connection.
Internal obliques would stop you probably from.
Yeah, there's others involved.
Yeah.
There's others involved, but they all involve the TVA.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Could you agree to that?
I think so.
And I think probably about it logically.
Much of an extent to the. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Because you're working your TVA a lot when you're doing like suitcase carries. Yeah. So I would say, yeah.
Yeah. I am doing a lot of anti, I guess, of all of these in like the kettlebell stuff I'm doing, because it's like I'm relying a lot more on stabilization because I'm loading my body like contralaterally in a lot of like exercises. And when you do that, when you load like only one side of your body on, you could do lots of different lifts where you only load one side.
Mm-hmm.
And it requires a form of stabilization that normally you don't like train, or you might like throw it at the end of but normally you're not doing a bunch of stuff single-handedly. You're doing like a double dumbbell, or you're doing a barbell, and sometimes there'll be a single arm. But even then there's like, it's a single arm, whatever, or a single leg, whatever, but do this to stabilize yourself. It's rarely just like, let's take this oddly shaped weight that rolls around if you're not careful, and then load it only on one side. And then there's a huge stabilization factor that's like in there now.
I had Wayne do windmills the other day. Oh. He couldn't do them very well either. I started seeing, like, I haven't done that in so long, so I grabbed the kettlebell the one day. So I'm on the weekends. Remember how you were saying like sometimes you like going into the gym and not having anything to do? I've been doing that on the weekends, and I freaking love it. I just like one day I did all these core exercises. That's what made me think of this. I was like, I'm going to train my core in all of these different ways, and that's actually what made me think of this for the podcast. I got a little sore from some of them, but one of the things I did was a windmill with a kettlebell, and I can do it no problem. But I had Wayne do it. No, he couldn't. So then I had him do the lying windmill, like, you know, when you do you ever where you're on the ground. So you're on the ground and you're going to be, your legs are going to be on top of each other, like bent, and you're going to hold them down, right, with your one hand. And then your other hand's going to go like around your head and swipe around your head. And then
almost
you're
like in
back.
A clamshell position.
Yeah, clamshell.
But you're kind of elevated. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if your hand can't touch the ground the entire way around, that usually shows there's something wrong with either your thoracic mobility, or it's a good test to do for clients, like when they're brand new.
That's a good one. I got to do that for Donovan.
Yeah, so see if he can do that. See if he can touch the ground all the way around with his hand.
Okay, I will. Yeah. Awesome. All right, good pod. Short one again today. Thank you so much for listening. Like she said in the beginning, go check us out on YouTube and subscribe if you're not already on everywhere that you listen to this. We would much appreciate it. And we will see you next week.